Okay, hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, welcome to another culling of the collection. I'm enjoying doing these and I have sold on some films. We'll get to that after this. Hi everyone, welcome back. Yes, culling the collection episode, whatever episode this may be, I don't know. But today we are doing this shelf up here. All of these, which are primarily N's and O's by the looks of it. Now, I have actually sold on a few films. Not many. I stuck some on eBay. I took some to CEX. Those that carried a minute amount of worth that I could then kind of put back into the collection, and it was so liberating to do it. It really was. Now, I had a special way of doing it in that if the cost that I got back was over a certain amount, I would go for cash. If not, I would go for a voucher. So I came out of CEX with £89.10 in cash and an £11.60 voucher after I had bought my missus a 4K version of Avatar: Way of Water. Fantastic. Now, it wasn't just films that I had traded in. There was a fair few PlayStation 2 games, a couple of DS games, and that sort of a thing. So it wasn't just films, okay? But some of the higher priced films that I've had that were a bit more sought after, I stuck onto eBay in the hopes of selling them. By the time you see this, I'm pretty sure that they will have gone because weeks will have passed. But like I said, today we're going to be taking a look at this shelf here, and I'm going to take off and put away, get rid of the stuff that I don't feel that I need in this collection any longer. Primarily stuff that I won't watch again, stuff that I've doubled up on, stuff that might be I've picked up in 4K or in a steelbook, etc, etc. So without any further wasting of time, we are going to go and get into it. So I'll be back right after this. Okay, and I'm back. And or even that just one turn around made me dizzy. I hate fairground rides. The ones that go round and round and round. I cannot do them. They make me sick. They make me feel awfully sick. So anyway, let's stop talking, stop the jibber jabber, and let's get into this shelf here. So, first up, I do have a couple of collectibles on this shelf, and they're two light cycles from Tron. Tron Legacy light cycles. Yeah, just a small thing that I picked up at the time. I did have a few other Tron bits as well, like the ships, but I sold them on ages ago. I kept the light cycles because they're nice. So, let's begin up here. So, first up, I can see a film that I can get rid of, a film that can go. And it's Jet Li in The One. Reason being is because £8 I managed to pick up the Steelbook edition from 88 Films. So Jet Li's The One, this can go. Interestingly, Chris at Cypher Sigma Screen Time and Matt got the same Steelbook as I did at the same time through the same offer. I believe it was Zavi. Matt didn't like it. Matt didn't enjoy the film. He hadn't seen it. It was a blind buy for him. But Jet Li's The One is a film that I watched back in the day when it first came out, so I knew exactly what I was getting. But we can say goodbye to Jet Li and that one. So, moving on. Okay. I'll be interested to see how many films I actually get rid of on this shelf. It certainly will. Nicolas Cage, National Treasure. I like Nicolas Cage, and I quite have fun with these films. Nicolas Cage, National Treasure 2, Book of Secrets. I can't get my words out today. So, to start with, two films that I will keep. Now, when I was in the CEX trading in, for $38.99, they had on 4K the complete Pirates of the Caribbean box set, not the steelbooks, just the standard one, and I was really tempted to get it. I was really tempted, but then I thought to myself, hold on a minute, you've got the Pirates of the Caribbean on standard Blu-ray, do you really need to upgrade them, considering you don't watch them often anyway? And if you do, it's probably only that first film. So the answer was no, let's not get that. I was proud of myself in that moment in time. There we go. Next up we have Nocturnal Animals, starring Amy Adams and Jake Gyllenhaal. Gilligan's Island. Yeah, I like Amy Adams. I really like Amy Adams. That's a keeper. I've got a horrible feeling that this shelf is going to prove disastrous, in that there's not much going to go. Usually I hit about 12 titles. I don't think that'll be the case today. Then we have Owen Wilson, Lake Bell and Pierce Brosnan in the movie No Escape. I quite like Owen Wilson when he steps outside of comedy and gives us something else. So what I'm talking is things like this, or Behind Enemy Lines. After seeing Behind Enemy Lines, I always thought, Owen Wilson, I'd like to see you do some more action movies. It never came to pass. It was normally action comedy. So it's nice to see Owen Wilson doing something a bit outside of his standard comfort zone. And Lake Bell, she voices Poison Ivy in the Harley Quinn animated series, as well as having been in some other stuff. We mentioned Amy Adams, and she's in this as well. Well, she's in the second one, Night in the Museum Part 2. She plays Amelia Earhart. Now, these were fun films. Ben Stiller, Night in the Museum. There's the third one. Maybe not as good as the other two, but I certainly like the first two of them. I think they're fun films. So, keepers. I can't believe this is still sealed, and I need to watch it. And it is Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling in The Nice Guys. This is a good film. It really is. Kim Basinger's in it. I totally forgot Kim Basinger was in this movie. I need to give this a rewatch. I really do. It's a good film. Shane Black movie. And then we have my favourite rom-com of all time, Notting Hill. You know, I enjoy this film immensely. I think it is. It's a fairy tale from the man's perspective, if that makes sense. I like it. Then we have Liam Neeson in Non-Stop. Which one is this? Because if it's the airplane, no, this is the train one. This is one set on a train. He does some forgettable movies, doesn't he? See what I mean? And this is an example of why not to buy movies brand new. It's still sealed, and I've not revisited it. I don't feel I'm doing very well because I've only got one movie on here. But anyway, next up, National Security, Martin Lawrence and Steve Zahn. I think Martin Lawrence can be quite funny. National Security is one, and I don't think I have Blue Streak. I think that's quite hard to get a hold of. I quite like Blue Streak, but I'm going to keep that anyway, regardless. And we have Ryan Gosling and Rachel McAdams in The Notebook, rom-com, and yeah, it's a decent film, and I do see myself at some point. I'm sort of saying to myself, you could let this one go, but I think that I would want to revisit it at some point in time. So I'm keeping it. Okay, next up we have Nurse 3D. Now I actually have a couple of copies of this. I think I've got one down on my horror shelf, right? But the one down there would be... Let me go and get it. Okay, so yes, I am right. See, I've got that twice. I don't know why. I honestly don't know why. Blu-ray 3D of the can't get my words out, of the movie Nurse. So what I'm going to do is I will say goodbye to one of them, that one there, and I shall keep the Australian one. keep that. So, yeah, I know I've gone to a different shelf, but there we go. Next up, they're not going anywhere. It's the Naked Gun trilogy. Frank Drebin, Leslie Nielsen. Yeah, the first one's a classic film, so I'm going to keep that. Then we have No Hard Feelings, Jennifer Lawrence. It wasn't a bad film. It was an alright film. It was enjoyable. And it tried to sort of hark back to the days of American Pie, but that ship sailed. We can't do those sort of films anymore. They're just not allowed. So you get this sort of thing as the sort of, you know, it tries to be a bit edgy. It isn't really. You do see Jennifer Lawrence fully nude in this, but it's not done in any kind of a sexualised way whatsoever. So if you get yourself off on Jennifer Lawrence naked in this film, you're either a prepubescent adolescent or you've got problems. Next up. Okay, yes, I'm going to say goodbye to this one. It's Need for Speed. Need for Speed? For me, no need for speed. That one's going to say goodbye to that. And another one I think I can say goodbye to that I don't feel that I would watch again. Now You See Me. Yeah, I can't see myself watching that anymore. I don't have the sequel in the collection. Next is Nicolas Cage, Julianne Moore, Jessica Biel, decent cast. I haven't watched this film for ages. Does it hold up? Is it any good? I don't know. If you can see the future, you can save it. I shall keep a hold of that. I shall save that. Next, I shall say. Then we have in here, and I'll say goodbye to this one as well, The Nutcracker and the Four Realms. Reason being is because I did actually upgrade to a steelbook version, which was lovely. It was a beautiful steelbook. I didn't mind the film. But yeah, Keira Knightley, whoever Foy, I don't know. But doesn't that look a bit like Kristen Crook from Smallville days, you know? I look at her and I think, you look like Kristen Crook. Next up, we have Nikita. I'll keep that, obviously, because I like Nikita. I love the TV series La Femme Nikita that ran for 5 seasons. And then you had Nikita with Maggie Q that ran for 4 seasons. And this is Luc Besson film that's a kind of, you know, yeah, we had initially. Next up, Night of the Comet from Arrow. Now this had a re-release more recently. I forget what company it was under, but this is the Arrow one with the booklet inside and everything. Yeah, it's a decent film from way back when. And then we have The Next 3 Days. Is that Elizabeth Banks, Brian Dennehy? Oh, and Liam Neeson is in this as well. From director of Crash. Paul Haggis. Paul Haggis used to work on Due South, the TV show. Due South, yeah. I need to rewatch it. Yeah. Okay, so now we have we have Oceans, the Oceans trilogy there, and all female led Oceans 8. So there's something that I will keep. I know we're getting 4K upgrades for the Oceans trilogy. I don't know whether they're out by the time this airs. I'm not sure the release date, but I don't feel the need to upgrade them. Even though they're nice steelbooks, I'm not going to upgrade them at all. Next up, I've got Old School. I've got Old School inside this one, but it is The Other Guys, and I think this film is hilarious. I really do. I like Will Ferrell for the most part. Well, I do like Will Ferrell, but some of his material I can let go. But Mark Wahlberg, I think it's a fantastic film. Michael Keaton is in this as well. It's got a great cast. Sam Jackson and The Rock, Dwayne Johnson pop up as well in cameos at the beginning. Who else is in this? Steve Coogan, the late Ray Stevenson, Punisher Warzone, Samuel Jackson, Dwayne Johnson, Eva Mendes, who is quietly married to Ryan Gosling. She's in it as well. It's a solid film. It's a solid film. Next up, Operation Mincemeat, and I enjoyed this. I waited for the price to go down on it. It was a CEX pickup, but I'd seen it before. Didn't buy it brand new. Price went down. I then bought it. And here's a film that I do enjoy. And it's a German one again, from the Coen brothers, and it is Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Soggy Bottom Boys. George Clooney, John Turturro, Tim Blake Nelson, and John Goodman. Great cast, and George Clooney has fantastic comic timing. He really does. I mean, you know, I like George Clooney. He's a great actor, and in this, he's a solid performance. A solid film. Moving on. Oblivion, Tom Cruise. Do you remember that nasty case this came out with? The one that was like a picture frame. Horrendous. That's what I used to have. I got rid of it and I bought this in CEX. But is this a film that, you know, that I still got the pictures from the old that were inside the other case. I kept them and put them inside. But is this a film that I can do without? I need to revisit it and see. Then we have, still sealed, this is the Josh Brolin version of Old Boy. And obviously it stars Elizabeth Olsen in it. You know, Scarlet Witch from Marvel Films, MCU. You know, I've not seen the original. I've not seen the actual original Old Boy movie, so I can't tell you what that is actually like. But moving on. Occupation, Conquest Begins, sci-fi film. And I've got both of them. An Occupation, Rainfall, and I've watched neither. It's really bad of me, really naughty. Ken Jeong is in the first one. In the second one, Tamara Morrison. Who else? Jason Isaacs, Ken Jeong. I really need to watch them. Then we have Once Upon a Time in Mexico. It's the only of the trilogy that I have on Blu-ray. The others I do have on DVD, kindly gifted to me by Jimmy over at Jimmy's Boys Movies. Thank you, Jimmy. I do remember these things. So I've got a nice tin thing, a release that they're in from him. I really appreciate it. Then we have the movie Oculus, but I don't know if I've got a double of this. I'm going to have to check that out. This would have been one of those ones that I picked up very cheap, on the basis that Karen Gillan was in it, you know, from Doctor Who, Nebula from Guardians of the Galaxy, and never watched it, and then picked up a second one because I wanted to see it. And that's one of the reasons why I stopped so much going into CEX, because this thing kept happening to me. It's a real problem. Now this one here I can get rid of because upgrade. I got the lovely box set. I never did get a reply about the change, the stuff that was advertised for the box set that weren't actually in that box set. But yeah, so One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, for that reason, will go. Upgrade reasons. Like I said, I'm not doing particularly well, I don't feel, here. Then we have, with a nice lenticular, Olympus Has Fallen. Now, Olympus Has Fallen, White House Down, came out in the same year, and I was more a fan of White House Down than Olympus Has Fallen. Reason being is because White House Down, in its structure, in its setup, is more akin to a film from the 1980s or 1990s, where there's far more character development in it than this film that wants to throw you into the action from the get-go. So I always edge towards that because in its structure, it felt more akin to Die Hard. I mean, I know they're both Die Hard rip-offs, but what I mean is the way that you build up to the actual events and what's going on. It felt more Die Hard-esque in the way that was made. But unfortunately, that one flopped. This one went on to give us a couple of sequels, and I think there's another sequel in the works. But yes, then we had London Has Fallen. Now, this is probably the weakest of the franchise thus far. given that living in London myself, I watched this film and it is horrendous for geography. They're going across Tower Bridge in one direction to end up in a place that's on the other side of Tower Bridge, and all these people, everyone he encounters in it seems to be bad people. Everyone. Where's all the decent people living in London? What I mean is people who are not involved in the goings on, the events of the film. It's crazy. But there we go. So next up is, well, I have it in 4K, and that is Angel Has Fallen. Yeah, I like this one. It was good. Carrying on. We have from Premium Collection, HMV Premium Collection, number 19, and from 1981. Is there any... You probably saw me grab it down anyway so you know what it is, but here's Sean Connery in Outland. And again, this is a great film, and seriously, where you can watch this film, you can watch this, you can watch Blade Runner, and you can watch Alien, and in your mind these films are set in the same universe, right? They look exactly the same, as in the set pieces, the design, all this. I don't know, there must be some connection between designers. There's got to be some connection, something that connects these three films. But you could just say that these all work together in the same universe, and you wouldn't not believe it. Good film. Do you like Jesus? Jesus Christ, you know, that fella, the one on the cross and that sort of stuff. Anyway, Jim Caviezel, played by him in The Passion of the Christ. But he done a film a while ago called Outlander. Outlander, this is where he's an alien, I believe, and he comes down to Earth during Viking times. John Hurt and Ron Perlman prop up the cast in it, and I didn't mind it. Jim Caviezel is great in Person of Interest. If anyone ever says to me, Jim Caviezel, I say Person of Interest. Fantastic TV series. Kevin Costner now, and Open Range. Now, this looks like a heavily DNR'd 4K picture, doesn't it? Imagine it looking like that. Yeah, I don't particularly like that cover. I had this, I believe this came out in this country. It did come out in this country, it did. But I'd got this one prior to that one being released, and thusly I ended up with this. No reversible sleeve in this one, hence why the age rating is still on the outside. Hideous. Hideous. Now, here's a film that I actually enjoy, okay? And I have a blue DVD in there as well. And it is Seth Rogen in Observe and Report. And I didn't mind it. I thought it was fine. And who else is in this? Anna Faris, Michael Pena, Ray Liotta as well. Late Ray Liotta. Late great Ray Liotta. Anna Faris you'd know from primarily from the Scary Movie movies. So that's Keeper. And then we have here Once Upon a Time in America. But I have this version here. It's a Sergio Leone movie. This is the extended cut of it. Now, I made a mistake. I got the original one, and it wasn't the extended cut. I wanted the extended cut, and I ended up with it like this from Italy, I believe. Yes. This is the Italian version. Yeah. I'm just having a quick look on the back. Yeah, anyway, so that's Keeper. Next up. Overlord. Breathtaking action. I know it had a 4K release. No need to upgrade to 4K. It was fun enough. It was fun enough. And one I can get rid of. I do miss Cameron Diaz as an actress. I know she's back soon, but the other women. Well, the other woman. Cameron Diaz, Leslie Mann, Kate Upton, Don Johnson. Not one I need to keep. See you later. Then we have from Soderbergh, Steven Soderbergh, Out of Sight. Again, George Clooney with J-Lo, Jennifer Lopez, Jenny from the Block. Opposites Attract. Decent film. Okay. A film that had a revival at the beginning of COVID, and it's not Contagion, it's the other one. Outbreak, starring Dustin Hoffman, Morgan Freeman and Rene Russo. I watched it again around that time, same with Contagion, you know, I was interested in it. I think Rene Russo is just so attractive. She really is an attractive woman. Yeah. decent film. Now this is one of those movies, right? Because Danny Dyer, right? I dislike Danny Dyer with a vengeance. I really dislike him. He puts, I think he's talentless. I don't believe there's any talent in him whatsoever. So I don't like him. Got to check the times. I've got to take your dog to the vets. But anyway, but this is one of those films where he stars in it, which puts me off rightly. But I like the other cast members. Bob Hoskins is great, and Sean Bean. And here's the movie Outlaw. So a keeper for that. Yeah, there's one other. I forget the name of it. It's the Danny Dyer film that also stars Gillian Anderson. Name of it eludes me, but I do have it in the collection. And yeah, there we go. So next up is a bootleg. So bootleg, I can't really do nothing with it. The Old Guard. We're getting a sequel. It's actually based on a comic book from Image Comics. I do have the first maybe 6 to 8 issues of that comic when it came about. I was reading it before this film was even, the comic came first. I was reading it when it first came out. So I'm looking forward to the sequel. And then one that I can dispose of, get rid of, whatever I do with it, is Overdrive. Overdrive. So, that's that shelf done. And let me just handball the camera a bit for you. So I'm kind of left with a little bit of space there. And like I said, normally I end up with about a dozen discs to dispose of or to get rid of. Whatever term you want to use, those to go. How many have I got rid of today? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8. 8. It's dropping. I don't know if that's showing a change in me or if some of the films are getting better on those shelves. So today we have Overdrive. Yeah, I can't see myself watching that again. The Other Women. See, these are ones that I picked up cheap just because they were cheap. But I don't really want to visit them. And this is just stupid buying for the sake of buying. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. A fantastic film that I've upgraded. It's not a 4K upgrade. I'm sure that will come. Nutcracker. I got a steelbook for it. Lovely looking steelbook as well. Now You See Me. Again, one of those ones where I was filming, let's go and do a Blu-ray hunt. Let's go into Poundland. These are cheap. Look, I'll get that. Walk home. Look what I bought on the channel. Oh, yeah. It's that sort of nonsense that gets you into this situation in the first place. Next up, Need for Speed. No Need for Speed. No Need for Speed. Jet Li's The One. See you later. Because I upgraded to a steelbook, okay? And then Nurse 3D. Nurse 3D. Now, Matt's a big fan of 3D, but I'm pretty sure his missus wouldn't be a fan of him having this on the TV in 3D. But there we go. So, that is another episode done, dusted, and put to bed. Comments down below, as always. And I'm going to shoot off, because I shall see you on the next Culling the Collection. Take care all, and goodbye.